press the live button and hey guys.
And I'm going to say something that
You can say
you
something
can't
just
take
like
back.
that.
And I'm like, delete that and start it back over. Is that what you're saying?
Yup.
Yeah. So, because that would have been a nasty soundbite. That would have been like, wow, embarrassing. Well, good afternoon, good evening to everyone that is tuning in. We are here for another layer, another discussion from the recap. It is a Monday, it's a cold one, rainy one, but we are getting so close. I am counting down this week. I am so grateful to see this week, but I am counting down the days to winter recess for my job. I am just ready. I am ready. I don't know about well, I don't even have to say for you, Maya, because I already know that you are ready
Yeah.
for this Christmas, but I am counting down. So I am just grateful to see this day, be able to have this conversation and just have another layer of the recap. As we always say, the recap is just a extension of the fellowship that we experience each and every Sunday. We like to take this time to just recap what we've been experiencing at Bethany Church, the Transformation Church of New Jersey. So, whether it's from our word impact to our encounter services or just to anything that we have going on online or in person, we like to just take this time to just recap with you and make sure that we have that connection, right? We cannot say that we are. Showing God's love or doing God's work if we don't have that connection with
Right.
someone. So we always like to say that you never know what someone's going through today. You never know what type of Monday somebody had. So we want to make sure that we extend that love, extend that connection with someone, and just make them feel good today. So there's a number of ways that you can do that. Number one is always by liking the broadcast, because by you liking it, you are indicating to someone that you know what, it's a great conversation. I'm enjoying it, so I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it as well. We also want you to comment. We are up here, we say what we say, but we want to hear from you. You make this broadcast what it is, so we want to hear from your perspectives, with how you've been enjoying this week's how did you enjoy this week's sermon, but also just a mental check-in with you as well. How are you feeling today? What's going on? Happy Monday. Where are you tuning in from? Especially those that are tuning in for the first time, we want you to put the VIP in the comments, because we want to again extend that love and be that connection for you today. And then lastly, clicking your share button. So yes, you can share by liking because it indicates that you like it, but directly sharing it with someone. So it's not always just clicking that share button, it's also sending it through a text message, right? Letting people know, hey, every Monday at 5:30, Kevin Maya come on and we just have a great discussion and some laughter too when it comes to everything, right, Maya?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good time. I think, like I've said, like this is our way to really just kick back after service and just talk about not only what we learned, but just to talk, as a family and catch up with each other. So, definitely want to make sure that you guys participate in that by being involved in the comments. Don't be in the background, behind the scenes, lurking. We want to hear
Come
from
on
you.
now.
So, definitely, please do join us, be part of the conversation. And if you haven't yet, let someone know about what we do here at the Recap and all that we do at Bethany and how it can impact their life.
Yes, yes, how it can impact our lives. So, Maya, how are you feeling on this Monday, darling? A Monday closer to Christmas.
I know we're what are we? We're almost a week away,
Yes,
so
we're almost a week away.
uh, really excited. Like I said with Pastor Nick this morning, I got a lot of shopping to do because I always say I'm going to start, in the months leading up to Christmas, and it just hasn't happened
Listen,
yet. So, yeah, that's what this week will be. So, yes,
I love that. I
Christmas is
love
here.
that. Christmas is here. Do you have like a tradition that you like to do around this time?
Yeah, so two traditions. One is we always have a French toast casserole.
Mm,
Oh, that's so good. So, so
mm.
good. So, looking forward to that. And then we have our annual Christmas tree decoration
Yes,
competition.
the competition, the
So, I think
contest.
my brother won twice in a row these
Oh,
past 2 years. So I have, I need to reclaim my place
oh,
as
come on now,
the
Maya.
number one Christmas
You gotta do
ornament
better.
decorator.
You got to get it together.
But yeah, I mean, those are the type of things that we do as our traditions. What about you, Kat?
So this year, my family and I, we are going to go on Christmas Eve. We are going to go see Mufasa, and we're going to, wear the pajamas, take my nephews and niece,
Ooh.
and just to go see it. I'm just excited because I already love the movies, but it's just something about going to the movies and watching things on Christmas Eve, and then,
Yeah.
of course, watching the parade and everything on Christmas morning. So I'm just excited, and then just also just to enjoy the time off from work and just enjoy time with family and friends. I just love this part of year because you just to get you get some time just to reset and just unwind and just reset and just get your mind right and get your mind prepared for 2025. As we've been learning the last 2 weeks, Bishop's been teaching us about tithing and teaching us about fasting into the new year and how important it is, how it just helps your mental. So that's what I love because it's closing one door and opening another.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my favorite tradition during this year, during this Christmas and New Year's Eve season.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from everyone as well. What is your favorite tradition, your favorite takeaway from the end of the year festivities and holidays? And what are you looking forward to going into the new year? So,
Mhm.
we've learned so much throughout this year, and just more, I will say, for me, every sermon that we've talked about and everything that we have discussed on a recap, I feel like this has been a self-discovery journey for us this year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just learning more about our identity in Christ and everything. So what has been your biggest takeaway? Well, not your biggest takeaway. What are you taking into 2025 as you prepare for this new year and, continue this walk with Christ?
Yeah. Um. So, hmm. I think for me, probably one of the biggest takeaways is just to appreciate the process and to not look at the situations that we go through in life and look at them as something that I don't know we failed in or didn't accomplish, whatever.
Mhm.
But like Bishop spoke on yesterday, actually, to speak to the situation and to claim that it's already done and to trust in God's uh, process for us.
Mhm.
So I think one of the biggest takeaways going back even to the beginning of the year with the theme, Lord, break my heart for what breaks yours.
Mhm.
Sometimes going through the process includes being broken and
Mhm.
having to go through circumstances that feel like we're being broken and
Yeah.
in a position where it's hard to come back from. But then
Yeah.
that's where we learn to lean on God, right?
Yeah.
So I'm taking that into 2025 because I don't know what the year is going to bring. Hopefully, all good stuff.
Yeah.
But when times come that might be a challenge, I have a pretty good foundation to rely on and to know that everything's going to be okay. So
Yes.
like, try to keep it
And
real. Yeah.
you gotta keep it real. And we see you, Nicole. I love seeing that you're gonna be spending
You
time with your
too.
brothers and nieces and mother and nephews. Love that. Love that. We want to hear from everyone that's tuning in. What are you expecting in this holiday season, and what are you taking into this new year of 2025? So, what I will say, for me, um, a full transparent moment. I feel like these last couple weeks as we've been learning about the power and the purpose of prayer, I feel like my prayer life has not been what it should be. So
Mm,
I feel like going into 2025 that I am going to start to shift my thinking and start shifting my prayer life to um, get to the next level of that. Like I feel like my prayer life is great with God right now, but I'm always one that tries to better myself in different areas of my life. And I
mhm,
feel like learning what Bishop has been teaching us the last couple of weeks about the purpose of prayer and your prayer life and making it stronger. I feel like there's definitely some areas when it comes to my prayer life that I can be better in.
mm,
So I will say going to 2025, that's something that I'm taking to heart and taken serious when it comes to, just growing and maturing more. I love learning more about myself and learning more about what God has for me. But yes, definitely in my prayer life.
Yeah.
Full transparent moment.
Yeah, no, I can say the same thing. I think that it's easy to go to God when the times are rough and you
Hmm.
need something right now. Uh,
Yes.
but there's real strength in being able to have that consistent relationship with Him.
Hmm.
So, I do want to make sure, like you said, that I'm establishing that constant connection where I'm not going to Him just because I need something, but because I just love Him and, want to spend that time with Him. So I'm going to add that to my list too, Kev. And
Yes, and Deborah, we see you. Yes, we are touching and agreeing that we all. I. That's what I love about open discussions and conversations when it comes to you know the sermons that we're in. Bishop does a great way at just Bishop is just Bishop first off,
oh, yeah.
but he just has a way of just giving us information at the right time. And I think definitely working on our prayer lives as we go into the new year, because we always say it at the end of the year. We always prepare, goals and expectations for ourselves into the new year. And a part of that, you have to have that faith, and you have to stand strong in your faith. And there's going to be times where you need to go to God about things because you're not feeling it sometimes. So I think having that constant communication with God and being consistent in your prayer life is so important, especially in the first half of the year, because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that
Mhm.
we don't give ourselves enough credit for the small wins. We're always looking for the big wins, the big wins sometimes. But being in constant prayer with God and just knowing that God is with you, and just being open and honest. I
Yeah.
feel like that they're the things that we need to take away,
Mhm.
and just the consistency in our prayer life. They're the small wins that we need to take away, because that's all God wants. He wants us to know that He's just waiting for us to have that conversation with Him, not beat ourselves up, not try to do things on our own, but just to come to me in prayer and have that constant communication with me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that also happens in ways that we don't anticipate as well.
Hmm.
So, like, I feel like being able to have a relationship with God means that it happens like we've been learning that God is here anytime. He is available and present to us. Hi Jason, so glad
Hi,
you're joining
Jason.
the time. So, the question is, are we opening ourselves up to hear him?
Mm.
It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be at a set moment where we get on our knees to pray. It
Yes.
could be driving down the street or in conversation with someone else
Hmm.
where you're talking and then someone says something at the exact moment that you need to hear it, or a song that's on the radio, right? So are we opening up ourselves to be able to hear God in ways outside of the box that we kind of place him in, and to be receptive to the answers that he might have for us,
Yeah,
and there might not be things that we want to hear,
absolutely. No, absolutely.
but you know
No, it's the truth. And we were reminded that God is accessible, active, and desiring a relationship with us.
Mhm.
Prayer is not just communication, but a direct line to God that allows us to transcend earthly limitations and enter the heavenly dimension. Bishop talked about understanding the boldness in prayer, right? Boldness in prayer comes from confidence in God's character.
Mm,
Bold prayers align with His will and invite His activity in our lives. So I love that he talked about having that boldness, right? Because that's how we should be going to Him. Just
yeah,
being bold, like saying that whatever I know I'm going to have this conversation with God, I know that with Him, things can get done, right? I know that whatever I go to Him in prayer, not knowing when things are going to happen or how it's going to happen, but I am bold enough to know that God, that I trust you. It
mm,
says when you go to Him boldly and you give it over to Him, you're saying that you trust His character. You know that His characteristics will never lie to you, that He is someone that is faithful. He is someone that loves me despite my flaws, despite my sins. So that's showing you that you trust His character and everything that He has aligned for you. So I love that Bishop talked about having that boldness in prayer, because that's something we put boldness in so many other things than our prayers.
Mhm.
Sometimes we are so timid in our prayers that, I want to say this, but I don't know if it's actually going to come to pass and stuff like that. So having that boldness in prayer, I think, is so important, especially going into this new year.
Yeah, yeah. We need to be able to have our drop the mic moments where you say what you say and you stand
Yes.
on it and trust that God's going to deliver. So definitely, uh, that requires a lot of trust,
Yes.
you know, and understanding. Are we understanding, truly understanding
Mhm.
who God is in our lives?
Yes.
That might be a bigger question.
Yes. That is
That
so
might be a
true.
bigger question because every first of all, everyone's understanding is different. It's based on their experience.
Hmm.
When you're able to kind of take a look back, I think, and see how God has moved in your life and the lives of others, which is why we say testimonies are so important,
Hmm.
and who He says in His Word, like that, all those things are what help to build understandings in our lives. So that might be a prayer that we need to ask for. God, please help
Yeah.
my understanding in who You are, and
Mm.
those doors will open for you to kind of have a little bit more clarity there.
Right. And I love that because we were in a series, well, we've been asking the question all year long, Lord, break my heart for what breaks your heart. But when we ask that question, we also have to prepare ourselves for that answer. So I guess I would say the same thing about that question, understanding God's role in our lives and being prepared for whatever that answer is. I
Mhm.
feel like sometimes we ask questions that we want yes and no answers to, right? And we don't prepare ourselves for what the answer is actually going to be.
Mhm.
So asking God and going to Him, having that boldness in your prayer and going to Him and saying, this is the question that I have, God, and just giving it and just trusting in His words, right? Because
Mhm.
we learned about the importance of using God's words, and
Yeah.
we're reminded that words matter, especially in prayer.
Mhm.
I'm going to say it again. Words matter, especially
Definitely.
in prayer. Because so many times we go day in and day out where we say things and we actually don't really, we really don't think of the weight that a word may have in someone's life or in our own lives, or the effect that words have, right? Personal
Mhm.
words may falter, but God's word carries power and guarantees results.
Yes.
The call is clear. Pray God's promises and His truth over all of our circumstances, right? So when it comes to praying over all of our circumstances, the importance of confession that Bishop talked about this week. He said confession is described as agreeing with God about our lives and situation. Like Peter, who confessed Jesus as the Christ, we are called to confess God's truths even when imperfect,
Mhm.
right? So I feel like sometimes when we go to God in prayer, we feel like when we don't say certain things that God don't know about, right?
Mhm.
Even our imperfections, even in times when um, we were not our best selves. We feel like we can hide certain things from God and certain thoughts and different situations that we've been in, but God knows everything, right?
Mhm.
And He just wants you to. The power of confession is so much stronger than trying to hide things. I always say it all the time. I'd rather you just be upfront with me,
For
tell
real.
me the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I'd rather hear it from you. Because if I hear it from someone else, like, it's gonna be 10 times worse. And I think it's the same thing with God. Like,
Yeah.
just tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because once you confess those things, then it is just like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no hiding when it comes to God. You just think about Adam and Eve in the garden trying to hide themselves. And
Yes.
God's like, "You stupid. Who told you that you were naked? I see you. Hello.
I see you. I
I
see
see you."
everything.
So, I get it. I think that's a very mm, human way of looking at God, and I don't know, it's interesting because we wanna have that relationship with him,
Hmm.
but he is still God. So, I know personally, I just kinda take the stance, "Oh, yeah, God, you know this about me. Yep, I did it. it was me. Sorry. You know, because he
Sorry.
knows. What was the question again?
No, it wasn't no question. I'm just saying it's so important to
Yeah,
always know that, like, you can't hide anything from
right.
God.
And God, and because God knows us, what He wants is just for us to come to Him, like you said, and to be real, and to have that
Mhm.
humility, because that's when He can have forgiveness.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's okay. It's okay, guys. God's gonna still love you. He's gonna still love you if you come to Him. That's the whole point of salvation is being able to come to Him
Yes.
and to be humble before His feet and say, God, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Help me through this
Yes.
so that I can do better or, I can grow, that sort of thing.
Yes, and I love that you said that. You started off by just saying, "Lord, I'm sorry," because we learned about the protocol of prayer, right?
Hmm.
Um, we learned that the importance of understanding the proper approach to prayer. Prayer begins with repentance and is
Yes.
directed to the Father through the Son in the power of the Holy Spirit. So it starts by first saying, "You know what, God, I am sorry. You know, I know I made a mistake. I know that what I did, what I said, or what I thought that was not your way. I apologize for that, right?" And I
Hmm.
feel like that's as Bishop showed us this week, the protocol of prayer is that just first just surrendering yourself that I don't know everything. I know that I was wrong. You like just
And that's it. You said it right there. I don't know everything.
yes.
I don't know everything. And that's what got, going back to Adam and Eve, that's what got them in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got them in trouble
Because
right
you thought you knew better than
there. Yep. Got out real quick.
God got real quick. But I think that's the importance of that's I love that we went over the importance of the proper protocol of prayer, because so many times I feel like we have open-ended prayers where we don't really we don't really hold ourselves accountable. We just say certain things, we say certain scriptures without going properly, right? And having the right approach, right? I just think about like a conversation that you have with someone. If someone approaches you the wrong way, everything that else is going to come out their mouth is going to go by the wayside,
Mhm.
right? I'm very big on approach when it comes to situations, when it comes to rectifying situations or having effective communication with someone. Approach is so important,
Mhm.
because if someone's approach is like, I know if you approach me in the wrong manner, I'm gonna get myself together to hear what you have to say. But it's always about your approach. So I think that's important when it comes to prayer too. How are we have to ask ourselves, how are we approaching God? How are we approaching him in prayer?
Mm.
Are we actually doing the protocol of prayer, the appropriate approach when it comes to going to God and just saying, God, you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I struggle with this. I know that I'm not the best in that. I know I have my toxic ways, Lord, and I pray these things away.
Mhm.
But it's so important to always have that mindset that, I have to go about I have to go about prayer in a certain way, so I know that God knows that I'm serious, and that I do want to be changed. I do want to be cleaned up. I'm not just saying it because I have to pray, right? No,
Mhm.
I'm feeling what I'm actually saying to you, God.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true, and that helped me out a lot, Kev. Am I going to God? Like, what is my approach?
Mhm.
And that might be a missing key to the equation as to why maybe things aren't planning out the way that we foresee them to be in our own lives, right? Because
Mhm.
we're going to God as a child and saying, "I want this," or what's that character from Willy Wonka? You know,
Oh, you quizzing me because I haven't seen that in years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. But, like, how are we going to him? Are we going
Yeah.
to him in a way where he will want to be able to provide some of the things that we might be asking and seeking him for? It's not that he can't do it,
Right.
and, it's just our end of the equation that's not coming to him right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love what Deborah said. I struggle with how to go to God in prayer. And I
Mhm.
think just starting your prayer off like that, like, God, I'm sorry. I don't know how to start this conversation.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. That's all he wants to hear. Because
Mhm.
then he's going to show you how to do it. But you have to first, as it said in the other comment, being authentic with God.
Mhm.
We have to be our authentic selves. We have to take off the mask, take off everything, and just strip ourselves from strongholds that we have in our mind of how we should approach it, and just say, God, this is my authentic self. This is how I'm feeling. I'm sorry that I feel this way. I don't know how to. That's what he wants. He wants you to be your authentic self when it comes to him and when it comes to approaching him in prayer,
Yeah,
which
and
we are.
I think it's fair, like, if you're angry about something, coming to him and saying, "God, look, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I don't
Mhm.
know why things are happening the way that they are, you know, please help me with this," you know?
Yes.
Even, "God, I'm angry at you, why?"
Yeah.
Coming to him, like Manuel said, in an authentic way, not necessarily giving him attitude,
Right.
but being real with, where you are so that that's something that he can address in your life, right?
Yes.
Like going back to what you said, Kev, sometimes we try to put a mask on or to say the things the way um, that we think need to be said
Hmm.
instead of just allowing or trusting God to be ourselves,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
definitely think
Absolutely.
about. Mhm.
So I am just excited to learn more as we go into this year of 2025, fasting and praying, but working on my prayer life as I go into this new season, into this new year. And it's our prayer that you also have that same mindset, or in any area of your life that you feel like, God, I need to work on this a little bit more, right? Maybe studying more, reading our Bible more, applying what we're learning each and every Wednesday and every Sunday, and even on Mondays at our Embrace, learning the things, all the tools that Bishop and Pastor Nick are giving us, and using them in our lives, in our everyday conversations, whether it's with someone at work, whether it's someone in our family, and especially our conversation and our approaches in prayer to God, right? So there's so many different things to stay connected and also learn more throughout the week. So, Maya, what are some things that we can look forward to as we wrap up these last couple days? And I think, 2 weeks left and some change in December.
Yeah, so of course, as you guys know, we have our Embrace class tonight at 7 p.m. Please come out with us in person. It's a great opportunity to just dive a little bit deeper into the Word with Bishop David G. Evans. And, you can ask him questions and have really good conversations that are good for us all in our faith walk. So that's tonight at 7 p.m. in person, online as well. If you need the link to that, you can email social at gotobethany.com. Okay. On Tuesday, we have our Link Couples Ministry. So for all those who are engaged, married, seriously dating, please come out and join us online on Tuesday with Pastor Nicholas Smith and Reverend Tiffany Smith, the dynamic duo, uh, just share more about what a faith-based relationship looks like. On Wednesday, we have our Bible study. We have our noonday session at 12 p.m. with Pastor Nick. That's in person only. So if you're in the area, we definitely want you to come out and participate in that. At 7 p.m., we have our in-person and online session with Bishop David G. Evans. And the series has been really, really amazing. It's called Designer Originals. So we definitely want you to come out with us. Invite someone with you, especially as we're entering into these last 2 weeks of the year to talk about, who we are as God's children. And then on Saturday, we have On Point Radio, 9 a.m. with Bishop and Pastor Nick. Real talk, real conversation. You can call in, talk to them about anything, and get some real answers. about sports, politics, whatever y'all want to talk about, call in and they'll talk about it with you.
Mhm.
And then most importantly, on Sunday, this is the Sunday before Christmas. So it's going to be amazing.
It's
Okay?
going to be a great time. We're
Just
in for
saying.
a treat.
I'm just saying. So we have the Encounter Worship Experience in person at 11 a.m. Um, it's in person and online. With this being the last Sunday before Christmas, we want you guys to come in. Please invite someone to church with you, as they are going to be really impacted. You never know how it might change their lives. So that's what's happening this week. Oh, back up a little bit. On Wednesday at 7 a.m., almost
Mhm.
forgot this, we have our morning prayers for the month of December. Last week it was Reverend Rich White, and tomorrow it will
Not
be
tomorrow, Wednesday.
oh, Wednesday it will be Reverend Tyrus Bush.
Yes, come on, Reverend Butch.
So definitely make sure you guys tune in with us on Wednesday, 7 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, as well as our website.
You
And
know Reverend Bush gonna give us a word now, y'all.
yes, yes, yes. So tune in with us. We can't wait to see you.
Yes, we are so excited. It as always, it's always an honor and it's a pleasure just being being able to be on this platform and take this time to just talk with you and fellowship with you virtually. Thank you to everyone in the comments. We see the comments still coming in. We encourage you to have your own recap as well. Continue the conversation with someone, whether it's a family member, a work friend, or just a friend, or just anyone in general, because this is a much needed topic as we go into the new year. But we want you to stay tuned to everything that we have, to keep you connected throughout the week. And also join us next Monday as we continue this conversation, but especially join us for any of our services, especially our encounter service this upcoming Sunday. But until next time, it's our prayer that you were encouraged today. It's our prayer that you have a blessed and safe week. And we look forward to seeing you either online or in person for one of our many services.
Bye, guys.